Advanced machine learning tools are changing the real estate industry. Developing the next generation of AI-driven KPIs is what Realitics is working on. If you're a broker owner or leader of a franchise team, stick around. There's something you can learn here. Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Broker Talk, a weekly half-hour show about the real estate industry. I'm Larry Lawfer, your host each week, and we're missing our good friend Jim Lowenstern, the CEO of Castles Unlimited. Today's topic is artificial intelligence and how predictive analysis is helping broker owners and franchise teams recruit and retain the top agents. All owners want producing agents, and then they become recruiting targets once they're producing agents for other agencies. Let's get into how this all gets figured out. What makes Realitics different than any of other competitors that are reading marketing data and providing that service? By the way, I should probably introduce my good friend Diana Passarelli here from Realitics. Welcome back, Diana.
Yes, thank you, Larry. Thank you. It's great to be here. Always fun to chat with you. We always have a great time. And thank you for that great intro. So yes, Realytics is it. We are a data reporting company, much like many of the companies that a lot of your listeners would be familiar with. What sets Realytics apart from some of the other companies that have been operating in this space for a while is, I think, the biggest driver would be the way that we go beyond just giving MLS transactional data. So, yes, we are reporting numbers from the MLS. However, before we report those numbers to our clients, we're actually converting them into insights. So, really, as opposed to just reporting numbers, we're delivering data-driven insights. And I would say the biggest difference comes in the delivery of the data and really the data itself. When we talk about delivery, it's in the use of some of the best data visualization technologies out there. So users really don't have to toggle between number-filled spreadsheets. They can simply look at the way that we serve it up and know very intuitively how to navigate and what choices they need to make. And then
Wow.
in the data itself, in that it's not just pulling numbers from the MLS, but we're converting those numbers into insight, many of which are AI powered.
That was a really long answer. Thank you. Uh,
I'll
and
try to keep the rest short, but
right. I think we nerded into it, a
we
little too
went there a
far.
little bit.
Let's get down to my level where I can understand this because of the sales I make,
Mhm.
the area in which I'm working on and close deals and what I'm doing. Your company can understand not just the data that I closed, 50 deals and they were in these communities and were for this price point. You can also predict just looking at that information from your analysis whether I'm going to be super successful or whether I'm actually looking to go somewhere else to make more money. That's what your company can do.
Yes, exactly. Well, amongst other things, but yes, those are probably, you touched on two of our more popular features of the system. Definitely the two that get the most attention. So, and yes, you're absolutely correct about that.
So, rookie rating would be one of
Mhm.
them. Give an unnerd description of that.
So when we rookie rating looks at newer agents, we're defining newer as 3 years or less in the business, and places a probability, a percentage on the probability of their future likelihood of success. And it's based on, again, looking at their MLS transactional record and determining that agents that ultimately make it in real estate look like this and how strong is that match. And so we put a percentage on that.
I understand your owner, Robert is his first name,
Mhm. Yes,
um,
Rob Key.
is a MIT grad, and his family started in real estate many generations ago, in somewhere in the Midwest. Am I correct?
Yeah, so I want to say granddad started the company in southeastern Wisconsin. And Rob grew up in a real estate family, so he's been around it his whole life. Did not start life out that way. Actually, was a graduate of the Naval Academy and went on to serve as a naval officer for about 10 years. During that time, earning his degree, one of his degrees from MIT. And then came back home to run the real estate, the family business. Worked in brokerage management for about 10 years and then held other leadership roles in the real estate industry since then. And then came to a point in his career where, data visualization technologies became more accessible and more affordable. And so fusing all that with his knowledge and expertise, it just seemed like the right time to start the company.
I like the term data visualization. It's one of those really long phrases that you're
A
like,
little
data
hard to
visualization.
say.
Like, hey, I can look at a piece of paper, But I think what you're saying is it really just isn't the data, it's how you interpret that data and what that data means compared to a whole bunch of other data. So,
Yeah, yeah.
when you're looking at a specific, you come into a market, say in Palm Springs,
Mhm,
and that's a relatively geographically smaller area. It's got a
mhm.
lot of good stuff going on in there. That prediction of what those people are, would that be any different than someone, say, from my Boston area? Or would it be just data is data is data?
No, we're specifically looking at that specific market. And so I want to go back to what you touched on with data visualization. Really, if you think about it, a good way for me to break that down and why that's so important is the way that we're displaying that data is if you've ever found yourself opening up 6 Excel spreadsheets that are filled with numbers and trying to pull fragments of numbers from each spreadsheet and to put it together to try to get some useful information, this sort of eliminates that analysis process. We do that analysis and then we serve up the insight. So I think that's what makes it such an efficient system is that we take that analysis component out of it because it's already being done for you.
So I understand that. I just wonder how broker owners of large firms use it on a day-to-day basis. So do they
So
have a
mhm.
dashboard that they look at, or big red bells? Do they get a shock if an agent takes a call from another agency? What happens?
Well, let's talk about it in a practical sense. So you touched on rookie ratings. So how would I use rookie ratings? So let's think about this for a moment, right? We know in real estate, a lot of agents come into this business, a lot of agents go out of this business. I think Norstats recently stated 87% of new agents that come into the business are gone by year 5.
Yeah.
And you might like this. Actually, we ran our own analysis. We profiled over 230,000 agents across the nation to see when they were newly licensed. And we found that 58,000 out of that 230,000 group were newly licensed within the last 3 years. And that wasn't even calculating in or factoring in agents that had not recorded a transaction. So basically, what the numbers are telling us is they're confirming what we already know. A lot of agents in, a lot of agents out. So broker owners, leadership teams like a healthy mix of newer and more experienced agents. It's just good for your office to have that healthy mix. So we know that we like to recruit new agents or newer agents. We know that they're it can be kind of a gamble at times. The problem with newer agents is that unpredictability. And so, in a practical way, we're eliminating that unpredictability by placing that rookie rating on them. And so, rookie rating says, this person has a 5% likelihood of hitting a certain measure of success. We actually place that benchmark as an agent that hits their third year in real estate and is doing at least 4 million in volume. So it's a way to guide your team's efforts and really in a very practical way. Maybe don't recruit this person, maybe recruit this new agent. They're going to do really well for your brokerage.
So it really works for essentially you're talking about the top agents. What is the Pareto principle? 20% of the people are making 80% of the money, or something like that.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah. We actually do have that feature in our system too. That'll show you
Yeah,
that for your office and what that
right,
looks like. But
right.
yeah, it's really guiding your team's efforts toward recruiting the right newer agents that are going to produce for your brokerage, that are going to stay on, that are going to do well for you, and that you can really help as well. Because there's nothing more disheartening than recruiting in a bunch of agents that ultimately, don't make it in the business.
Well, it used to be back in the day, it was just about putting bodies at desks where you were charging a fee. And
Yeah.
the business is changing in so many different ways. I think
Mhm.
for the better. I think that the divide between competent agents and good agents has always been pretty broad, but now you're
Hmm.
dropping out that bottom sector. And these are people that come into the business because, oh, I could be my own boss. Yeah, nobody's a bigger jerk than you yourself if you're good at this business. I mean, I've been self-employed my whole life, and I do know my boss is a jerk. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but but, but I think that it's not for everyone because there are
Hmm.
so many details, there's so many aspects to it, and understanding from predictive analysis, it's more than just data. It's we are we act the way we act. Now, of course, there's always going to be exceptions, and how do you deal with the exceptions? I mean, Tom Brady didn't get picked till 199th, and he's the top. I know there are people who disagree.
Um, Exceptions to like the rules of real estate or what we see.
Well, somebody gets a rookie rating of
Mhm.
you suck, and they really don't.
Oh, I see.
You know, it's been a unfortunately either bad training, bad advice, bad clients. I mean, at the beginning, you don't know who's good and who's bad.
You don't. And actually, we have clients that purposely will go through our reporting and look for agents that have lower rookie ratings. If these are people that want to recruit agents that maybe aren't being heavily prospected and they know that they can help because they have a really strong coaching and development program. I actually have had people say to me, I like those ones with the lower rookie rating because I really do think that I can do well for them and you sort of turn them
Yeah.
around,
Yeah. Coach them up. Hey,
coach them up.
coach
So,
them up. We'll be
yeah.
right back to hear more about this fascinating topic. Just a second.
When you are searching for a new home, you want to be working with a realtor with years of experience, a professional with intimate knowledge of the communities that you are considering moving to, and someone who really wants to represent you as a buyer in what is probably the largest investment you will ever make in your lifetime. The realtors at Castles Unlimited want to be your choice when you are ready to make your next move. Please visit us at castlesunlimited.com or call us anytime at 800-967-3561. The realtors at Castles Unlimited are here to help your next purchase, lease, or sale of any real estate the easiest decision you've ever made. Start your search anytime, 24/7 at castlesunlimited.com.
And we're back. We're talking about predictive analysis and the switch risk person. That's someone who has been making money, 4 million, by the way, per agent. That's a good number. That's a cap in most areas. And
Mhm.
so that's a fantastic thing for broker owners to have in their stable. But switch risk is once you become that agent, then every other agency is sending someone to call, hey, would you like lunch? Would you like, um,
Yeah.
uh, so what is switch risk and how do people begin to act other than as jerks because they don't like the place they are?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's AI powered and it's driven on we look at all MLS transactional data to identify any behavior patterns in an agent's transactional record that is a match for behavior that we've seen leading up to an agent's departure. So essentially, we will run an analysis on each and every agent within our client's MLS and flag the ones that are exhibiting behavior patterns consistent with an agent most likely to leave their current broker in the next 3 months. We'll rank them as high risk rated, medium risk rated, or very little or no risk rated. So this has applications both on recruitment and on retention because you're getting that flag on your own agents as well.
I just think it's interesting. We don't we think of ourselves, entrepreneurs, like most good real estate agents, are individual thinkers. They're their own boss because
Mhm.
nobody can boss me and I'm better, kind of.
Yeah.
There's a sense of that. But us thinking that our behavior gets ranked with other people's behavior and then it becomes predictive is,
Mhm.
um, is interesting,
Yeah, because
if not
agents
horrifying.
yeah, agents have a way of behaving when they know when they're planning their departure, they'll act differently. And so, maybe your broker owner doesn't pick up on that. It's very difficult for a human to pick up on those little changes. But machine, it runs its analysis, it's going to pick it up. And it's examined this specific machine learning algorithm was trained with over 4 million examples of agents. So it knows that agents that usually leave their brokerage look like this leading up to that. So on the recruitment side, very clear application, right? Every month when we deliver this report to our clients, they can simply pull up all of the high risk rated agents in their market, begin their prospecting efforts that way, because you're going to have a higher
Uh,
likelihood of
uh,
finding someone who's preparing to make that switch. And so it's like,
um,
hey, your message is really perfectly timed. How could you know that?
right, right. Yeah, it's all a
But
little
also on
bit
the retention side.
right. It's all a little Big Brotherish, and people who like their privacy get scared about this. But the minute you log into any free social media, you've already given people your data. You know, what's your favorite ice cream? Where'd you go to school? All of that is information that can be used in a predictive type of way about your password or something else. Um,
Yeah, and we're looking at public information. We're looking at the transactional records. So there's nothing that the company does that makes fee like that's sort of like a breach of privacy or anything like that. It's all public information. We're just taking it and using it in such a way that delivers this really deep insight.
right.
So it's very cool, and it helps guide your efforts. The idea is that if I'm a manager, if I'm a recruiter, and I've got so much time this week to make X amount of calls, how do I prioritize those calls? Who
Right.
do I call?
Right.
You know, so this system allows you to really target the right agents for
Right.
your purpose.
Right.
And then on the retention side, we're delivering this up to our clients on their own agents. So very easily they can look into their own agent pool and say, I've got these 5 or these 10 agents that have been flagged as a switch risk to myself. How can I intervene? What can I do to reach out to them to help encourage them to stay if there is
Right.
truly a risk of them leaving? But to begin that conversation and try to salvage those relationships. And actually, I do want to tell you about a big client we have out west who was using our switch risk in a really neat way. I had noticed, I was looking at their performance metrics because, we like to see how our clients are doing. And I had noticed that their agent retention went up 4% year over year. And so I reached out to them to see what they were doing. And what they told me was kind of interesting. They had actually developed a task force, like a team, every month that would look through all of their risk rated agents that we had flagged and then would do outreaches to try to save those relationships. And it had huge impact on their agent retention rates.
It does. People want to be cared about,
Mhm.
and especially when you work in an industry where rejection is a daily occurrence.
Right.
And that is real estate. You have to be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Being able to talk crazy people off the ledge, being able to talk yourself into doing something that you're supposed to do. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Well, I was a residential real estate agent for many years. I sold residential real estate, and one of the major reasons, and I stayed with the same brokerage the entire time, and one of the major reasons I stayed with my brokerage was I loved my broker. He was very well connected with us. He knew what was going on with us, and if I was having a bad day, I could go into his office. He was always very accessible, and I think that goes a long way. And our data is certainly used for that purpose as well. Because we deliver such a deep level of insight, really leaders are armed in a way that they would not have been otherwise.
right.
And so it makes it very easy and it gives them an efficient way to stay very well connected to their own agent pool
Well, and yeah, because they know who to talk to and when and how they
and what to
talk
talk about.
and what to talk about. But how they do that is their own skill or lack of skill, because that's
Exactly.
people talk about how agents, even the bad ones, well, I really like them, and I always remind people that sociopaths and psychopaths are nice people too. They're manipulative. So it's
Yeah.
really about what your actions are about, and if they are in service to your clients. And it sounds to me that Realitics is really focused on understanding in a different way, not just the data, but you provide insight on that data, which is predicts what is going to happen, and giving that information to the broker owner or the franchise team leader, that person is then able to prioritize their days. That's kind of it, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. And, I think real estate is a human business, and I don't think that machines can really ever replace humans. But what we do is provide the insight, provide this really smart data so that really good people can use really smart data to do really great things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Be better at your work. A lot of
Yeah.
people. A lot of people, I know in baseball, there's the stat people on how much they
Mhm.
hate that, and I mentioned the Patriots. I'm in Boston. I'm a Patriots fan. I know Tom Brady is coming back with the Buccaneers this weekend. And
Mhm.
I'm rooting for the Patriots. I'd like to see Tom and Gronk do well too. So um,
Mhm.
I'm conflicted, should I say? But Bill Belichick says stats are for losers. And
Did he?
um, I think he's really speaking to the players, because when
Mhm.
you get stuck in all. Um, Keller Williams does this a little bit. I like all the brands, and all of them are really good. But one of the things that Keller Williams does is it slots people into what their categories are, how much you close. Like 4 million is a producing agent. They're
Mhm.
providing some stuff.
Mhm.
8 million, 10 million. These are all different people, but they're all agents. And if you slot people into certain areas and don't give them the opportunity to jump up through either coaching or information or education, I think you're missing an opportunity. And I'm really talking to the top group of people who are out there producing on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, if I can look at my agent pool and segment it out and say, okay, well, these agents here maybe need some coaching in this area, or these agents are really strong in this area, I'm going to support them here, and use the data to give me those insights to know how to deal with different groups within my office. Like, who needs help with selling on their listings? Who's taking a lot of listings, who's not really selling them? How can I identify those people and then coach them in that area very specifically? So when you start having these very relevant conversations and speaking to where someone's at in their career, in their life, then I think those likely you're going to have people that are going to stay with you longer because what you're doing for them really resonates with them and is relevant to them. But it also helps on the recruitment side. If I can come to you and say, not just, hey, congratulations that you closed the deal last week, but make that conversation very relevant to what's going on in your business, I'm going to have your attention.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just like in selling a house, people think that money is the only object, and money
Mhm.
is the principle of
Mhm.
it. You do it to make money. You do it to make money on your sale, but it's not always the only motivator. They could
Right.
be have different reasons, and in a sale of a property, it could be the timing on the sale.
Mhm.
It could be you're going to let the people stay back in the house for another month, to have a birthday party because the kid grew up in that house and wants the birthday
Mhm.
party there. There's a human aspect to this as well. And what I particularly like is that you're looking at data, but you're thinking human, you
Right.
know
Yeah.
and so what did you say, it was just 4,000 pieces of data, or 40,400? How did you start? What was the number of pieces of data, and was that nationwide, or was that region focused?
Yeah, we started, we were just a small Midwestern company. We started in one MLS and have expanded across the nation very rapidly. We're in the largest MLSs in the nation. I want to say we're profiling over 600,000 agents currently, somewhere around there, and really have done no marketing. All of our businesses truly come through client referrals.
Right. Yeah, well, that is, they talk about the difference between public relations, advertising, and marketing.
Mhm.
Public relations is when your mom says you're a good date. Um, Advertising is when you say you're a good date, and marketing is when your date says you're a good date. You get
I
your
love
date,
that.
you get your date to say why you're good, and that's the referral business.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You look kind of
No, thinking about that, the good date. Yeah, I love that.
well, yeah, you always want your date to, and that's what a testimonial is. Not only did we get the job done, we got it done well, we had a good time, and there's no loose ends. Every,
Yeah, and we're invested in our clients' success. I mean, we monitor how our clients are doing. Their success is our success, and I think we get feedback constantly from our clients of how we've changed their business and how we've systematized their processes. Their system very organically builds in, process for agent retention and coaching and recruitment where maybe it didn't exist before. So. Yeah, so I think that's why we've gotten a lot of the attention that we've gotten, and we've gotten the referrals that we have, and have been able to spread very quickly across the nation. So,
um,
yeah.
well, speaking of, there's, I'm sure, people who would like to talk to you guys in person. I understand you're going to be at Inman.
Yes, we'll be at Inman at the end of the month. So we're happy to connect with anyone who's interested in having a conversation. They can reach out to me with any questions.
How do they get to you? It's Diana at.
Yeah, Diana at relitix.com. So it's Diana, Diana. Relitix is RELITIX.com, or they can go to our website, relitix.com.
That's excellent. Are you making any announcements at Inman? Are you have new products coming up?
We do have some exciting things in the works. Nothing I can talk too much about today, but I do want to say that we are developing a tool that will give leaders really deep market insights and insight. And we call it our Office Intel product. It's not officially rolled out yet, but very exciting, and just another way that we can arm and equip our clients to make better decisions and make data-informed decisions.
Data informed decisions, data informed insight, right?
That's right. That's
Hey,
right.
is there is there anything that I haven't asked you that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we touched on everything. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I greatly appreciate your interest and your audience's interest in our company.
Well, it's a pleasure. I would like to say to have you on another time, and Diana was on our show a couple of times, and I'm an idiot. I'm the producer here, and I screwed up some things. So hey, mea culpa. I'm real sorry.
Third time's a charm, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Thanks, Diana Passarelli.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.